Good afternoon guys, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a little bit of tour averages today. So we're talking tour averages, we're into the season now. I was at the tour event at Celtic Manor earlier in the week, and again seeing players being disappointed with how close they're hitting it. But if you compare that to the stats that we see and I've taken from the PGA Tour, the well inside tour average. And this is something that I need to take down to amateur level of higher handicappers, single figure handicappers. What are your expectations and how close should you be hitting it? So we're going to play some different shots today here, and we've also got to take into account obviously what kind of lie you're going to have. Are you in the fairway? Are you in a perfect lie? Or are you in the rough? How is that even going to affect how close you should be hitting the ball? Again, from here I've got a 20-yard shot, so from 20 yards, yeah, a lot of people come down and say, well, I'll be disappointed if this is outside of, 5-6 feet. I should be able to stay nice and easy. I've played that well. Oh, it's landed at the flag and it's ran onto 20 feet. That's not a great shot. But again, you've got to think about what kind of shot you've got in front of you here. So obviously here we've got a little bit of a dip, so we've not got anything we can land on before. We've only got 4 paces of green to work with. And then from there, the green runs away. So it's a very high tariff shot. It's a hard shot to play from here. It's not just a bog standard flat 20-yard shot where I could just roll that up maybe with a putter or even with a fairway wood or a bump and run. I've now got to think that, right, it's a high tariff shot. For me, for my handicap, again from here, if we compare that to tour average, from this distance between 10 and 20 yards, we're looking at the best on tour, just under 6 feet on average over the season. Tour average for the rest of the field, you're looking at around about 7 feet over the course of the season. Yes, you will see people chip in from here, you will see a lot of tour players hit it to a couple of feet a lot of times, but also then on a high tariff shot, something like this, they might be hitting it closer to around about 10 to 12 feet, and that's for a tour player on tour with the same kind of shot as this. But for this one, if you're thinking if you're a figure handicapper, even 15 feet from here would be very good for you. For your everyday golfer, for your mid handicap, for your guy who's maybe in the teens, in the 20s, on the green inside 30 feet would be the best chance for you. We want to make sure we get it on the green. We don't want to be leaving it here. Times we might people come up a little bit short. I think there I've played a little bit higher, landed that perfect, and that's probably just inside 12 feet, so maybe again very good from here. Couldn't have landed it much better had the correct flight, but again a very difficult shot. So you've got to think about your expectations. If you're a higher handicapper, if you're in the teens, even if you're in the high single figure handicap area, then what you want to be doing is think about, right, if I'm on the green, if I'm giving myself a putt inside 30 feet, then I'm going to get out of there with a 2-putt. And that's the thing from here. So you're starting to think that if I'm outside of 30 feet from here, or if I'm short, I'm bringing in the potential of still having 3 shots from there. So whether it's 3 putting or a chip and another 2 putts, that's what's going to make your score increase. So let's get around the green now, let's get a little bit closer, and then we'll get a little bit further back and we'll talk about how close you should be hitting it. So the next line now, we're in the rough. I'm going to go a short-sided chip shot, and we're thinking this is inside 10 yards. So again, inside 10 yards, we think, right, we've got to get out of this rough, we've got to get over the fringe. It doesn't look too much of a difficult shot. Tour average from here is 4 feet. For the best on tour, we're looking at just inside 4 feet, closer to 3 feet. So again, this would be something, if I ask most players from here, how close would you want to hit it? A lot of people say, well, inside the dustbin lid, just get out of here with a tap in. Again, think about a mid handicapper. Let's think about an 18 handicapper. Anything inside 8 feet would be very good for you here. For a single figure golfer, inside 6 feet will be very good. So it's putting yourself in that position. And if you think, if I'm an 18 handicapper, if I hit it to 8 feet, the percentages from there are 50. So we're not always going to get up and down, but if we get your average closer to 8 feet, we're going to have a lot more downs. And I see a lot of times, people get a little bit aggressive out of the rough, and that's now run all the way down to 40 feet, where I'm going to then 3-putt. So we're adding a lot of shots on there. So if we can get your average down there, pick the correct shot, we're going to be able to get that ball out of there, running down, and on that occasion, inside tour average. Next one, let's give ourselves a similar lie. In now, similar shot. Didn't run out as much. but that's probably gone to 7 feet. So 2 shots there, struck pretty well, didn't get the bounce that I initially wanted on the second one, but it's all about averages. We take out the first shot I hit that went to around about 40 feet. I've got my average there to around about 6 feet, which I would say will be good for a single figure golfer. If you're looking at a mid handicapper, if you're off 18 to 28, for 28 really we're looking inside 10 feet. Down to 18 we're probably looking inside 8 feet, which would be good for you. So give yourself more chances at putts, give yourself less chance of getting those 40 footers where we're bringing in more shots. Let's get back to 60 yards now, see what your expectations are. Let's see what the tour averages says you should be thinking about a little bit more. So we're now off a semi-rough lie. I'm going to give that roll that to where I think it might have finished. And from here, we're now thinking just like the rough, we're going to get a little bit less control out of it, but we change obviously our expectations for that. From here at 60 yards to that back pin, we need to think about, right, out of the semi-rough, it's going to run a little bit more. So it is based on obviously where we're wanting to land that ball. So we need to think about that and how close we're going to get it. Tour average from here is 15 feet, so that's obviously over this course of the season, that is what the tour average is. The best on tour over a season was hitting it just inside 10 feet on average, 9.4 feet to be precise. So we've got to then think about what that's going to be for you. From this distance, I will see a lot more people miss greens than they will hit. They try and play it too cute. They go, right, 65, I know that's a little bit of a half swing. All right, it's popped out a little bit high. Oh, it's landed good. That's running on, and that's just clinging onto the green. So I would say that may be just inside 15 feet. A lot of the times I see somebody carry it straight over the back of the green, especially when it's a back pin, because they're trying to get it close. Think, right, I need to get up and down from here. Again, from here, tour players it's more likely they're going to get 3 shots from here than they are 2. It's not as likely they will get up and down from this distance. So why do most amateurs think that? Again, what they see from Sky TV or cable TV, wherever you are in the world, we always see the good shots where they pitch it to a foot and they tap it in, or they pitch it in from here. But we need to think about that. If you're over 15 handicap, again, just trying for your goal to get it inside 30 feet, that's where we reduce the chance of 3 putts. If you are a single figure golfer, set your goal at 15, but if you are obviously between 25 and 15, I would say you're doing a good job, but you can see an area where you want to work. That might be something where you have a little bit more time on the range with your pitching, start to get your numbers dialed in. I know I did have a comment yesterday asking about the clock system, and I will go through that in a couple of weeks. But get onto the range or get down here, start to get your position, start to know how far each wedge goes, and see which wedge will be good for each situation. There we go, landed a little bit long, and that's ran off the green, so that's probably gone to around about 20 feet if the green did go a little bit longer, but I know it doesn't, so that's over. I've now got a tricky chip shot, so we have to make sure I'm in the semi-rough. I now need to, well, I now know I need to make a little bit of a smaller motion than the previous one. It was a good strike. That's a little bit of a smoother motion, landed a little bit shorter, and that has just run over the edge of the green again. So a tough green here, and that's what you've got to think about on your course. If it runs away from you like this green does here, I'm going to have to land it even shorter. I might be trying to land it at around about 35 yards for a 60-yard shot because I'm in the semi-rough. But give yourself your goals, guys. If you're between 28 and 18, inside 30 feet would be good. Anything between, or underneath 15, you want to be thinking, right, if I can get it between 15 and 25 on average, I'm going to give myself a lot more better looks at outside chances of birdies or scraping out of there with a par, but also you're going to be two-putting a lot more of the time. And if we can two-putt more from here, if we're hitting the green, then we are going to save shots over the course of the round, and that's what we're going to think. The tour players are doing that from here. They're not trying to always think getting up and down. They're more than likely going to have 3 shots from here. So guys, hopefully that helps you. We're going to get for different distances over the rest of the summer and going into the winter. So comment below what kind of distances or which kind of yardages you want to know the numbers from and the tour averages. Hopefully that's helped you, and guys, I will see you again later in the week.